Okay, we're back again this week. We're in Grant's car right now. We just got out of Pain and Gain. I honestly don't know what the fuck I feel about this movie. It wasn't good. Wasn't the worst movie I've seen. What do you think?
I think my blank stare at the camera says it all. Because unlike Bay, I can be subtle.
This is an odd little movie, to put it lightly. I mean, it's Michael Bay. You don't really expect greatness by any stretch of the imagination, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this. It's totally inconsistent.
Yeah, like, there are weird moments where, like, it's trying to be dead serious while having, like, this weird fast talk that tries to make it, you know, funny to undermine it. It's like, I understand, like, I'm okay with them trying to be, like, totally all over the place, but it's just, like, you gotta be consistent about it. Or, like, you need to find a way to ease it in, and just, like, it really did a bad job of trying to do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that point. I mean, it had potential, theoretically, or at least some parts were entertaining enough.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, this was a movie, like, as someone put, I think it was Cinema Snob, I saw a review, might think about it earlier, talking about how, you know, this was a thing about excess a lot of the times, you know, and, like, that seemed something that would be perfect for Bay. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a smart ass, but I mean, because, like, given his stylistic flair, would have fit it perfectly. And for the most
part, it fit his style. It just didn't translate into a really good, like a good movie, really.
Yeah, because the other issue is, like, it got bogged down by, like, a lot of stuff in there.
A lot of stuff you didn't need, like a lot of stupid jokes that didn't really work. I mean, it's Michael Bay. You expect stupid shit like that, but still, it's, I'm trying to find the words. But I don't really. Like, I just don't know what I think about this. Like, there's parts I liked, parts that's really off-putting. It just left me in a very weird place.
This is going to be a very short review, isn't it?
No, I'll find something. I'll find something.
Yeah, fun fact, the movie blanked out. Like, before we continue, we had a fun little story where apparently, I think...
About 15 minutes into the movie, his grandpa got a sign from God, and the whole thing just... blanked out.
Yeah, like, this happened in several auditoriums, by the way, because I overheard conversations on the radios. And, what the hell? I just realized we're wearing very similar shoes.
Black shoes are not entirely uncommon.
New Balance.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway.
That random diatribe aside. But yeah.
So we basically sat there in the dark for a solid 15 minutes, waiting for the screen to come back up, debating whether we should leave while we had the chance.
Well, it wasn't... Okay, here's the thing. It definitely wasn't like Scary Movie 5, where...
No, definitely not.
Oh, man.
Well, it's like, once this movie got going, after, like, the first act, it got entertaining for a while.
And then it just kind of putted out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was like, okay, maybe this won't be that bad. Like, maybe it'll, like, this will actually be an enjoyable experience. But it just went on too long. And, like, it takes a solid, like, hour to get the... You've seen the trailer, you pretty much know what it's about. Is basically Mark Wahlberg plays a fitness expert who recruits Dwayne Johnson, and we'll get to him in a bit, and this other guy whose name I forgot off the top of my head.
I remember it's just Adrian, I think.
Adrian's his character's name. Was it his character's name or his actual name?
I think the character's name. It's like, he was also like the least really involved character.
His whole thing was use stereotypes like erectile dysfunction. That was basically his character trait in a nutshell. But
that was the thing. I think... Okay, which leads to my next point. The Rock was probably the saving grace of this movie. Like,
pretty much.
It's like, the character Adrian was, like, very uninspired. Like, as we said, his whole spiel.
And Mark Wahlberg's trying, God bless him.
Yeah. Like, I'll give him credit, though. He had, like... Mark Wahlberg's showing, like, he's definitely meant for comedy, because, like, he has this very good sense of timing.
And he is a good actor. Right? I mean, he's clearly trying. He has good facial expressions. You believe him as the character.
Yeah.
Just none that the script isn't necessarily all there. But Dwayne Johnson, from the minute he appeared, that's pretty much when the movie got better as it got going on. Because, like, he is fucking fantastic in this. Like,
that being said, though, his whole deal did kind of...
It kind of faded away after what?
Weird notifications.
Okay.
Sorry.
But anyways, like, even that, though, and like I said during the Snitch review with Sarah, that I think Dwayne Johnson has potential to actually be a pretty good actor, and I think it basically confirms it. because he is probably the best actor in this movie.
Well,
He's really.
It helped that his character was also the best written of the bunch. Like,
yeah, like he's very humble. It's hard.
He was basically the Michael Corleone of the group in terms of like he was the good guy. Well, despite being in prison beforehand.
Yeah.
But he was the good guy of the bunch, and basically he was being dragged down into hell.
Yeah, and he's Jesus guy, which led to a few funny moments. If anything, this movie is worth the sit through the 2 hours just to see The Rock sing gospel. Yeah. That made me laugh, and it's like this movie blends a very interesting, bizarre blend between disturbing imagery and twist into like comedic imagery.
Yeah.
The perfect example of this was the barbecued hands that happens 2/3 of the way into the movie. Was like basically. At this point in the movie, all the shit's gone down, and I'll explain the story later if we care enough.
The story was summed up in the trailers, basically.
Pretty much. They take a douchebag, kidnap him, torture him for all he's worth, gets all his money, and then they eventually fuck it all up after they murdered 2 other people trying to get their money.
Yeah.
It basically sums up in a nutshell, pretty much. But after this, after they accidentally kill these 2 people, they take them down to a warehouse, which is like a big old sex shop warehouse. And it's like we need to burn their hands for some reason. I never really understood
the fingerprints. They wanted to, was it as Wahlberg put it, burn the prints?
Like their prints on their hands, or is that how it works?
No, on the guys, because if you can match the prints, they match the thing.
Okay, yeah, I see. That actually makes sense.
So yeah,
there's the part where at this point he's kind of become a crackhead, and he's just doing it every chance he gets.
The Rock is a crackhead.
Yeah. So his character's a crackhead, and eventually he says, like, we need to burn these hands. Okay, so they leave him behind, and he starts barbecuing the hands, but then he takes it outside, and he's flipping the hands and all that stuff, and this woman's on the cross, she's waving at him, and then the screen stops, and it just says below, this is still a true story. That was, like, the funniest goddamn part in the whole movie. Okay.
People are around us. I don't want to seem that weird.
You say that after the Scary Movie 5 review? Really?
Just saying, at least then the windows were closed so they couldn't hear me screaming like a maniac.
No, they could probably still hear you. They were walking around people walking around the back.
Well, the point is I felt more secure with closed windows. Give me that. That's all I ask.
Okay, there's nothing that kind of bothered me about this movie, though. It's the fact they just kind of jump from like story arc to story arc. Like almost felt like 2 separate movies into one. Like the first hour and a half of this movie is basically about them getting this money.
Yeah.
And the other story is about basically the guy they rip off trying to get revenge by hiring an investigator. And then the investigator comes in. He kind of becomes like the good guy character.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends on him, which is a bit weird because he's barely in the movie at all, really.
No, it ended on Wahlberg.
It did end on Wahlberg, yeah.
But yeah, the idea that it was... Case in point, though, the movie did lack a lot of focus, which kind of made things weird, and it seemed like the people they were focusing on were not the right ones. Like, yeah, Wahlberg's trio, you know, like I said, aside from The Rock, even after he becomes kind of a crackhead, is still sympathizable, but...
Then he just comes, like, even then, like, when it got to the darker moments, there was no way you could root for the guy.
Yeah.
He was clearly just an evil person, pretty much. And
the guy, The Rock?
No, not The Rock. I'm talking about like Mark Wahlberg.
That's what I mean. It's like, because it's just like
you don't like the characters, so why should you care what happens to them?
Exactly.
So it's like, but I did kind of like the cameo from what's his name?
Peter Stormare.
Is that the Asian guy?
Oh, Ken Jeong. I thought you were talking about Fargo Man.
Oh, Fargo Man. Well,
that was what I was thinking of. Ironically enough, this movie was basically trying to act like the bumbling crooks from Fargo.
I noticed that too. It kind of ends the same way with like the detective and his wife on the deck on the ocean too. It's like that's like almost exactly like the ending to Fargo.
Because I mean, and I think that was the issue. It's like unlike Fargo. Okay, it's unfair to compare some to a Coen movie, but it's like that was an example of it did it right. Like it found equal footing. Without trying to have some strange way of adding emphasis on like the improper people. Like it was.
And then there's some odd moments, even like the crack dealer guy, like the guy they rip off, or like they try to get to sympathize for him when they've at this point proven him nothing to be like just a horrible person.
Crack dealer.
The guy they rip off, they get him to sign his money away.
Oh, him, yeah. Was it ever confirmed that he had drugs?
Well, he had help. I think he said so in the gym in the earlier scenes. He was basically doing.
Yeah. Either way, we clearly see it. Aside from The Rock's character, we didn't care about any of these people.
Yeah, and thankfully, The Rock's the only one that really gets anything resembling a happy ending in this movie.
Yeah, because it's just like the other ones. It's like they're not really well developed, or they're just plain dicks, or both,
or just evil people. I mean, Mark Wahlberg is fucking evil here.
Yeah,
and he does it well, to give him credit, but. Yeah, he's still an evil prick.
Yeah.
And he's the main character,
yeah, well, I wouldn't say he was evil, but he was definitely... I mean, it's like, say for example, like, he didn't... Okay, no, you know what? No, I lied, because he did want to kill What's-His-Face in the beginning. I was thinking the second guy. I was like, you know what? No, he was pretty evil.
Yeah, see, exactly. Like, there's the part where he tries to talk The Rock into killing the crack dealer after they've tortured him for, like, what, a month, give or take? And he's like... Again, The Rock, God bless him, he's like, this is the best performance I've ever seen him in, oddly enough. Which is a shame it had to be in this movie. But
intermission, we need air. Why are my windshield wipers on?
Okay. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, yes. But it's like, he keeps saying, it's like, after they make it look like he was drunk, they crash his car, he gets up from that, because the dumbass put a seatbelt on, which was actually kind of funny.
Plastic version of him walks out of the car.
And then they tried to blow the car up, and then he walks away from that, or the plastic man comes out of that, and then they try to run over the car, the bastard still fucking lives, and they try to back into, this guy would just not fucking die.
Yeah, what strange luck.
Yeah, I know, God help us, we've saved us like an hour.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then The Rock, he's crying, he's doing all this stuff. It's actually a pretty damn good performance. Like, looking back at it now, especially.
Yeah.
It's like,
he did seem kind of flat in the later ends, but I'd say that's because he was in, like, a drug-induced state.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The one who expect that with crack, he'd be a lot more hyper.
Yeah, the one thing that, like, there's some else need his characters. I don't know if these people actually existed. I'm not going to fact-check this for any real reason, because I'm interested enough, but, like, the stripper chick that was in this movie...
Well, apparently... As I said, they just changed her identity, so apparently that was a real person.
So apparently I was a real person. Either way, annoying as fuck. Not really much to say more about her than that.
Not everyone deserves a voiceover.
Oh yeah, the dubbing book. There's a couple parts that were dubbed that apparently I wasn't really paying attention at that point, but it pissed you off. At that point, I was kind of like, are we seriously still here? It felt a lot longer than 2 hours.
Well, it's actually 2 hours, 10 minutes, but who's counting? Aside from the people who post these times online. But yeah, it was just, and it didn't help that, like, so we had that 15-minute blackout, so.
Yeah, that definitely didn't help. At that point, we were just all cracking jokes. Yeah. Pretty much being snarky assholes.
Yeah.
Basically being Ebert or Robert, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
But, Ebert, still Ebert, but whatever.
Yeah. So this one, Ebert are the dead ones. Roper was the second partner who's still alive and is still doing his own thing.
Yeah, well, good for him. Anyway.
Yeah, but, God, what else was there? Yeah, just like, it was all pretty sporadic throughout, but in the end, it really felt like it kind of got unglued. Like, it just...
Yeah, I mean, I get why it's supposed to, like, after the murder, everything's supposed to, like, raise up. And then again, it just feels like it totally changes gears. And it's just really off-putting. I think that's kind of why I just didn't know what to think about this when it came out. Like, there's so many shifts in focus that I just, like...
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to think about.
Yeah, it wasn't really... Like... It's hard to really analyze properly. Like, it's... I guess the whole idea of, like, how they approach the dark humor with such cynicism.
That's a good way of putting it. What does that little pretentiousness mean? I don't know. But
well, it's just, like, dark humor... Like, you can have humor in messed up situations. Like, we've seen it done plenty of times before. Like we said, mentioning Fargo earlier, which is basically what this movie was, when you think about it.
Yeah, and the main bad guy from that, like, has a cameo in this, too. Yeah. A very odd little scene where it's, like, he's plays, like, the guy who's supposed to touch Adrian's junk or whatever, and then it's, like... I leaned over to you and was like, really, you trust the guy from Fargo with your penis? I just don't think that would end well.
It's erectile dysfunction medicine, to give context. But
yeah, and it's a needle that, I'd rather not go into it.
God, what else is there?
There's, what do you think of the wife? Like, the girl that was like...
She was just there.
Yeah, she's like, she plays the fat chick, like, comedic fat chick in all the movies I've seen her in, or trailers of her in. And her character is almost never funny. She had maybe one laugh at the very end. She kind of had one little moment. Oh, yeah. But after that, I was like, no, it's Michael Bay. He has incredibly juvenile humor, and it just almost never really works.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's just a very sporadic movie where, like, the style over substance possibly could have helped it, but it I think the script just really wasn't really too well done. It's just like, yeah, what's there to say?
It was a movie. I'm still not sure what I think about it, but yeah, let's move on to the trailers then. I think we're said all you had to say about that.
Just quick summary. Sporadic. Acting was... Oh! Actually, I forgot. The thing on where things falling apart, just like the editing, like...
Oh, yeah,
even,
yeah.
like, the direction, the editing, just all felt sloppy there in the end.
Well,
like, it's weird
Michael
seeing, like...
Bay, and he's kind of sloppy to begin with.
Well, it's weird to seeing, like, Mark Wahlberg jumping out a window in slow-mo, then all of a sudden we see him, like... When a guy pops out a window, he's, like, suddenly walking away. It's just like...
Oh, yeah, do you know...
Then he gets shot, he's standing still, and all of a sudden the next frame...
Well, there's a few scenes like that. Do you notice the part when they're in the hospital when they dress up as after they find out the gang leader survived their attack, they try to find him at the hospital dressed up as surgeons. And do you notice when they're all walking down one hallway, then all of a sudden they're coming down through the 2 different hallways?
Well, admittedly, they said they were looking around for that.
True, but like this is after that though. Like this is showing them all walking down the hallway at the same time, presumably towards the room. Then all of a sudden they're coming from the other hallways.
Yeah.
Which it's nitpicky, but I noticed it.
And the last little nitpick. For some reason, there was a GameCube controller in 1995. And
there's that for you.
Just saying, if you know your game systems and your dates, that should not have happened for a good 6-7 years.
Okay. We'll move on. Basically, I would say, if anything, Redbox except for Dwayne Johnson's performance, but other than that, there's really no other reason to check this movie out.
Yeah.
Moving on to trailers then, we got 4, although God help me, we couldn't remember the last one. First one we got is Fast Furious 6 again, which, it's there. I mean, Raj is gonna drag me to see whether I like it or not. And it looks kind of like it'd be stupid fun, kind of like the A-Team or something. I've said that before, so it's like, unless you have anything to add to it, I've pretty much said all my piece about Fast Furious 6.
Wondering how they're gonna explain Michelle Rodriguez's character returning. That's all I'm curious about, even though I never watched the 4th one. I just know she was killed in that one.
Okay, and then we had Down, which is the one from the director of 2012.
I love it. It's like, from Independence Day. It's like, okay, Day After Tomorrow. Oh, God. And 2012. Oh, God! Like, I progressively wanted to scream more and more as, like, the titles, like, progressed.
I wonder if people down the hallway are going, what the fuck?
And I also find it funny that, for some reason, Channing Tatum is dressed up exactly like John McClane at some point.
I forgot about that. Although he had shoes. That's the one plus he had. This, again, we've talked like, it's like, the same with Olympus Has Fallen. This looks like a better Die Hard movie than the fucking Die Hard movie.
Yeah, what's up with movies taking place in a taken over White House being better than Die Hard?
I don't know. It's a weird trend this year. It's like everything's trying to be Modern Warfare 2. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah. Okay,
and then there was again...
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine. I'm actually looking forward to this one. Because this actually has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
It looks better than the last one, if nothing else.
Oh, Deadpool. Even the people who hate you said you didn't deserve that.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. One of my favorite characters. That pissed me fuck off to no end. But it's like, it has a kind of an interesting concept going for it. Like, first off, it's in Japan, which is was a delightful thing to pace.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know it's based on an actual comic art.
Yes, it is. It's, I forget who wrote it. I think it was Miller. Was it Frank Miller?
I know.
I don't know. I'll look it up later. But anyway, it deals kind of with the idea of Wolverine's immortality, which is something that's actually not really addressed in any other X-Men movie. So the fact they make it the focus here intrigues me a lot. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do with that. And of course, it's Wolverine versus fucking ninjas. What more can you want?
Yeah.
And then we had one more. It was a comedy. I remember that much because it was right before the White House movie. I remember because it felt completely different from what we just saw.
Do you remember anything about it?
That's what I'm trying to remember. Clearly, it wasn't anything that important, but it was probably what I'm going to see sometime this year.
Was it a good one?
I don't think so, because I think Wolverine was the only one that looked half decent.
Yeah, whatever.
Fuck it. Well, this is gonna be a short review.
Well, that was a very uninteresting movie, so it's kind of hard to talk about stuff that's uninteresting.
This is probably the most bizarre movie I've seen this year, which is actually not saying all that much, but, well, it kind of is. Either way, this is the most off-putting movie I've seen this year. It's just kind of meh, really. It's like at best. Like I like Dwayne Johnson. I think he was really good. I like the performances overall. But other than that, there wasn't anything really remarkable about this movie. A couple laughs, but other than that, even then, most of the jokes fall flat. You got any final thoughts?
Pretty much, yeah. You said it. It's just like I said, just sporadic, uninteresting, or undeveloped, just plain unlikable characters. Direction, or the directing and like style of it, was very fitting of the subject matter, but unfortunately, it's just, even though it's, you know, kind of weird and wacky, that doesn't necessarily equal full attention, I guess is the right word. Because, like, there are plenty of movies that are based on true things that just, like, even though it can be interesting, should be interesting, if handled poorly, it won't be.
Yeah. What he said. So, I think that's gonna do it for this review then. Hope you guys enjoyed the shorter one this time. But,
I think they did.
Don't be that guy, man. I'm trying to be optimistic. Whoa.
Did my car just...
That's not good. We should probably deal with this, so,
Alright, well, we'll see you guys.
Okay, there we go. Ah, okay, we're... I think your car is haunted.
Apparently my car has an auto shutdown feature that I don't know about.
Apparently, the will of God is not the only thing trying to stop the movie tonight.
This is the second blackout we had at this strange point in time. Yeah, you know what? When there's a sign that says end it, just go with it. We're done. We hope you enjoyed this review, and we're pretty sure you probably won't enjoy the movie, but hey, maybe you will.
Yeah, well, at least try and enjoy a reaction, or a very mild reaction to it, surprisingly. Either way, we'll be back later this week with the big wedding, which me and one of the two ladies are going to check out. I don't know why I'm going, quite frankly, but I'm going, so,
So
one of us is going to cry. It's probably going to be me, so come check it out.
Bye.
Turn off.